Hi guys, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at question number 41 from the OG13 critical reasoning chapter. The stimulus says installing scrubbers in smokestacks and switching to cleaner burning fuel are the two methods available to Northern Power for reducing harmful emissions from its plants. Okay, scrubbers will reduce harmful emissions more than cleaner burning fuels will. Therefore, by installing scrubbers, Northern Power will be doing the most that can be done to reduce harmful emissions from its plants. Great. So, if you have to paraphrase this argument, all it says is there are two ways of doing something. In this case, there are two ways of reducing harmful emissions, one of which is better than the other, which is scrubbers. So, if Northern Power installs scrubbers, it will be doing the most it can to control emissions from its plants. This is a very typical argument in the sense you will see different versions, or you may see different versions of this argument on different sources or in different sources, such as the OG itself has one more question which is structured on the same lines, and you may also come across similar questions in the GMAT prep. And when I say similar questions, what I mean is the structure of the argument will be something like there are two ways of doing something. One of the ways is better than the other. So if somebody uses that better way, he or she or the company is doing the most it can to succeed, or something on those lines. So the assumption in all of these arguments will be the same. And the assumption will basically be that you cannot use both the methods together. It's basically an either or situation. Because if you can use both the methods together, then that might actually help you curb emissions even more in this case. So the assumption has to be that either you can't use both the methods together, or even if you use both the methods together, the emissions will not go down further. So whenever you see such an argument ever on the GMAT, you should immediately know what your answer choice will look like. So now let's go through the options and try to identify our answer. So A says switching to cleaner burning fuel will not be more expensive than installing scrubbers. Expense or cost is not really our concern, so it can be eliminated. B says Northern Power can choose from among various kinds of scrubbers, some of which are more effective than others. Again, the point is Northern Power doing the most it can by installing scrubbers or not? B doesn't help you answer that question. C says Northern Power is not necessarily committed to reducing harmful emissions from its plants. That is okay. Nobody is asking Northern Power to actually even implement these measures. But the question is whether implementing the installation of scrubbers, whether by doing that, Northern Power would be doing the most it can. Whether it does it or not is a different question. So C doesn't help us either. D says harmful emissions from Northern Power's plants cannot be reduced more by using both methods together than by the installation of scrubbers alone. Now, this is the answer that we had in mind, which is you're assuming that you can't use both the methods together, because if you can, then the argument makes no sense. So if you negate option D, I hope you know what is a negation rule or a denial rule. So if you negate option D, the argument falls apart. So D has to be the assumption in the argument. Option E says aside from harmful emissions from smokestacks of its plants, the activities of Northern Power do not cause significant air pollution. See, the agenda of the argument is not for Northern Power to bring its emissions to zero. That's not the idea. So it's possible that there are other activities of Northern Power that also cause air pollution, but at least this is something they can control, the harmful emissions from smokestacks. So the question is whether by using scrubbers they are doing the most they can to control emissions or not. D helps you answer the question. D definitely is the assumption in the argument. It's a difficult question. I wouldn't say it's a very easy one. A 3 on 5 is what I would give it on a difficulty scale. Have a nice day.